Yeah, buff me. Buff
Oh,
me.
that's a nice shield.
He's still left.
Oh, he's dead. You have a stun for that guy? You should die
Stun?
here.
Yeah, he's
Stun.
stunned.
Yeah, he's dead, he's dead. If you ever wondered why you just got one shot, this is why. What you just saw wasn't bad gear, bad luck, or even a broken enemy. It was Fortitude, or more specifically, not enough of it. Before we even talk stats, you need to understand why this happens. From level 1 to endgame, you're spending around 500,000 total XP. That XP isn't just levels, it's attributes, skills, resistances, weapon skills, and everything. If you spread that XP wrong early or mid-game, you feel it when the game suddenly starts deleting you. You don't want to mess up your character stats because it costs 500k gold to reset. While that's not a lot endgame, it is early. I have a full class guide on my YouTube. I'll put the video in the top right for you guys to watch. Every character in Dreadmyst is built on 5 core attributes: strength, agility, intelligence, willpower, and courage. Each one scales multiple systems at the same time: damage, crit, sustain, resistances, and survivability. This is why blindly stacking damage stats gets people killed. The stats on the screen are per 10, so that means 10 strength gives 5 melee damage, plus 3 melee skill, plus 3 melee crit, plus 3 range skill, and plus 3 ranged crits. Agility per 10 gives plus 5 range damage, plus 3 melee skill, plus 3 melee crit, plus 3 range skill, plus 3 range crit. Intelligence per 10 gives plus spell damage. This varies on the spells and the classes. Every spell has a different coefficient for scaling. Plus 3 meditate, plus 3 resistances, and plus 3 weapon skill. Although intelligence gives plus 3 weapon skills for staves and wands, it's fairly useless for most casters. Willpower per 10 gives plus 3 meditate, plus 3 resistances. So for most classes, this is a low priority stat. In future videos, I'll go over what's actually good for each class. Courage per 10 gives plus 3 melee crit, plus 3 range crit, 3 weapon skill, and plus 3 to 6 shield skill, but it's dependent on the class. Now here's where it all ties together. Do you remember in the beginning of the video where that guy got one shot? All those attributes feed into the stat called Fortitude. Fortitude is calculated from every attribute you have. Roughly one attribute equals 0.331 Fortitude. That means at about 1208 total attributes, you hit 400 Fortitude. And 400 Fortitude reduces the damage you take by about 2/3. If you're under that number, the game doesn't ease you in, you just start getting one-shotted. You can literally add up all your stats, multiply by 0.331, and you'll be within 1 or 2 Fortitude of the real number. Let's clear something up, because people confuse these constantly. Armor reduces physical damage only. It caps at 300, which is 50% physical damage reduction. Armor is linear, so every 6 armor is 1% physical damage reduction. 300 armor is the ceiling. You can go past it, but you'll be wasting stats. Because Fortitude and Armor are separate stats, you can combine them for a total of 83% physical damage reduction if you have 400 Fortitude and 300 Armor. And then you can also get 66% magical damage reduction because Armor doesn't work against magic, but Fortitude works against both. So if you're a tank right now, you're probably like, I see switch. Okay, so I can stack Armor and Fortitude and those pesky rangers won't be able to kill me. But what about those mages? I got you.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy. Okay.
Are you?
Absolutely.
I'm going to tell you exactly how to be that guy. Resistances are chance-based. The chance is the value divided by the attacker's level. If a spell is resisted, it deals 50% damage and it cannot crit. So it's very important to be able to stack resistances, not only for PvP, but also for PvE. There's a lot of endgame dungeons that require a lot of resistances, including fire and shadow. The next mechanic that I want to talk about is block. And no, I'm not talking about your annoying ex that keeps sliding into your DMs. This block actually does its job. Reduces damage by 2/3 and doesn't come back 6 months later and asking if you're still tanking. Block is calculated the value of the block divided by the level of the opponent. So an example is 100 block divided by 25, which is the max level. It's 4% block. The next mechanic that works similar to block is dodge. It's calculated the same way, so it's the value divided by the max level. In contrast to block, when you dodge, you actually evade the whole damage. It should be noted that you can only block and dodge physical attacks. The next mechanic I want to talk about is weapon skills. So this includes staves, maces, axes, swords, ranged, and daggers. It compares the value of your skill to your opponent's to determine the parry chance. And as Sun Tzu, the author of Art of War, once said, stay strapped or get clapped, I think. Parrying an attack reduces the damage by half. It should also be mentioned that it also gives a slight bonus damage while using that type of weapon. If an attack is parried, it also cannot crit. Shield also has a skill, which improves effectiveness with it. The value of your shield skill is compared against your opponent's weapon skill to determine bonuses to block chance. The next mechanics I want to talk about is melee value and ranged value, which respectively is the amount of damage you deal with a basic melee attack and ranged attack. There's also a stat called weapon value, which only works on melee. This is the first video in a video series. In video 2, we'll break down gear, armor, affixes, gems, and enchanting, so stay tuned. And if you guys like the content, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. I've had an overwhelming amount of support, and I really want you guys to know that it does mean a lot to me. The community in Dreadmyst has been super supportive, so I really appreciate you guys, and thanks for watching.